Cool. So there she is. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. And before we get started, I would just like to respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. And unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these lands. And also taking a moment to remember that because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've transitioned online, and many of us are working from many different locations, and just taking the moment to remember that, you know, we're all very privileged to be able to work on the lands that we do, and being cognizant of that as we continue our work. So good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a good sleep and it's not too early for everyone. Yeah, so we'll move into the roll call of attendance then. I'll start with myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Gabe. I'm the VP University Relations. My pronouns are he, him, his, and my access needs are met right now. Asib isn't here. She's an ex officio member of the committee. She actually messaged me saying she won't be here. But because she's ex officio, she doesn't have to send her regrets. So we'll move on then to at-large representative 1, which is Belkis.
Hello. My name is Belkis, she, her, hers, and my access needs are met.
Thank you. We'll move on to at-large 2.
Hello, my name is Poom. My pronouns are he, him, his, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you, Poom. Faculty of Applied Sciences representative.
Hello, my name is Harry, and my pronouns are he, him, his, and my access needs are met.
Thanks, Harry. Arts and Social Sciences.
Hello, I'm Sude. My pronouns are she, her, hers. My access needs are met. Just that I have a midterm, so I might leave a bit early. Thank you.
Thank you, Sude. Business rep sent his regrets. Communications, art, and technology.
Hi, my name is Heather. My pronouns are he, him, his, and my access needs are met.
Thank you. Education representative sent in her regrets as well. Faculty of Environment.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anuki. My pronouns are she, hers. And for access needs, I need to leave early because I have a midterm as well. And please wish me luck and keep me in your thoughts and prayers.
Thank you, Anuki. I wish you good luck. Health Sciences.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nafoni. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and my access needs are met.
Thanks, Nafoni. Science.
My name is Wei Chen, so I pronounce he, him, his. My access needs are met.
Thank you, Wei Chen. And I realize my name is actually on the list, so I shouldn't have gone first, but that's all right. We'll move on to society staff then. Executive assistant.
Hi, Shanika. She or her access needs met.
Thanks, Shanika. Administrative assistant.
Hi, I'm Christine. She, her, hers, and all my access needs are met.
Thanks, Kristen. We also have Anna here this morning.
Hi, I'm right on time. I'm Anna, she, hers. I'm the member services coordinator, and I was great. I just joined right on time.
It really was perfect timing. Awesome, thank you. And we also have Corbett attending.
Hi, everyone. Corbett, he, him, his, access needs are met. But I have a meeting for 11 and I want to be that on campus, so I might have to leave after an hour.
Sure. I'm not expecting this meeting to be too long. It'll probably be under an hour. So yeah, we'll move on from that then. And we'll move on to the ratification of regrets. So be it resolved to ratify regrets from Maytab Gill, and I have regrets to add, but I'll get a mover and seconder first. So if is there a mover for the motion?
Sude moves.
Sude moves, thank you. Is there a seconder?
Heather.
Heather seconds, thank you. So I can't move, but I have regrets from Emmerly. She also sent in her regrets. So would someone like to move to amend the motion to add regrets from Emmerly?
I'll move. Malkis.
Malkis, thank you. Can someone second?
Heather.
Heather, thank you. So yeah, is there any discussion on that? I don't anticipate there is. Okay, cool. We'll move on to a vote for that amendment then. So seeking unanimous consent, all those in favor of that amendment. And so seeing no opposition, that amendment will carry unanimously. So move back to the main motion. Be it resolved to ratify regrets from Maytab and Emmerly. And that's already been moved and seconded. Emmerly is at a meeting of the Faculty of Education Council, and she didn't realize it conflicted with this, so she won't be here today. And Maytab didn't provide a reason, but he sent in his regrets nonetheless, so that's that. We'll move into a vote then if there's no discussion. So seeking unanimous consent, all those in favor of the motion. All right, so seeing none, that motion carries unanimously, or carried as amended unanimously. So we'll move on to the adoption of the agenda then. Be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there a mover for that motion?
Sude moves.
All right, Wei-Chin moves. Sude, would you like to second that motion?
Yeah, Sude seconds.
Sure, thanks, Sude. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Any amendments to be made? Looks good. All right, so seeing none, we'll move on to a vote then. Be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favor seeking unanimous consent? I am seeing no opposition, so that motion will also carry unanimously. Thank you, everyone. So we'll move into a bit of housekeeping items. So this is our first farm committee meeting. We'll move on to 6.1, pardon me, which is what is farm committee. So what is farm committee? This is one of the new committees that was established as part of our policy review, and I actually shouldn't say new, because farm committee existed a very long time ago, 5 years ago, in 2015. But it was removed during the last major policy change again, which was in 2015. And so, that conduit for faculty reps and at-large reps to work together was removed and hasn't been present for a very long time. And as part of our last big policy change, which just occurred in the last month, this committee was revived, and I am very happy for that, because this committee is a chance for faculty reps to really coordinate with each other on their respective activities, events, or projects, and not only support each other in their work, but also it's a great idea to brainstorm ideas and have discussion outside of the board table, maybe in a more of a no pressure environment, and yeah. So something I'd just like to do today is do an overview of some of the key points of the standing order that actually allows this committee to exist. And I was going to screen share, but there isn't a problem with my computer. So yeah, essentially what I said before, the standing order basically just outlines that this is an opportunity to collaborate on faculty and department-based campaigns and advocacy, and coordinate the activities of the faculty representatives and at-large directors within their portfolios and on delegated authority as prescribed in the standing order. And I guess I'll talk a little bit about my role in this committee, because I think it's obvious that I'm not a farm rep. So as part of the standing order, the VP University Relations, which is me, is a non-voting member of the committee. And so for the most part, besides the first meeting, there's actually a rotating chair for this committee, which means that all of you actually get an opportunity to act as a chair. Each meeting we will have, each one of you will be able to act as chair. And the standing order that creates this committee outlines that the VP University Relations chairs the first meeting to kind of get the ball rolling. And other than that, I'm a non-voting member of the committee, which basically means, for the most part, I'll kind of just sit in the background and let the farm representatives coordinate and plan their respective events, activities, and projects. And I'm kind of here to act as a support because in a way, it kind of makes sense because the VP University Relations is should be trying to coordinate all those university-wide initiatives, and by helping faculty reps kind of with their departmental and faculty campaigns and initiatives, that it seems very fitting that I should be here to support the committee as needed. But for the most part, I'll kind of be sitting in the background. As you know, as per the standing order, I think I already said this, but the committee has a rotating chair, which means that each of you have an opportunity to act as a chair, which I think is very valuable because for the most of our committees are chaired by executives, which in my opinion leaves out a key leadership role for farm reps to take on, which isn't necessarily a good thing. So this is a great opportunity, I think, for all of us, all of you to be able to practice this role. And if the committee decides to meet on a monthly basis, almost everyone here would get the opportunity to act in that role. And if this committee decides to meet on a bi-weekly basis, everyone will get the chance to chair at least once. And so something I would like to do is maybe sometime in the next week or sometime before the next meeting, I'd like to host a Robert's Rules training session for everyone here to, make everyone comfortable with using Robert's Rules. I know we all experience it in board meetings and committee meetings, but trying to use it is a whole nother ball game. And to me, it's almost like a second language. The more you practice it, the more you become fluent in it, and the more you become comfortable with it. And it seems really daunting at first, and it can be, but I always like to emphasize that Robert's Rules of Order shouldn't really be, if you're trying to chair a meeting and you make mistakes, that shouldn't be used against you. It shouldn't be, if you make a mistake, you shouldn't feel bad. I think Robert's Rules is actually a great opportunity to work as a team, and to, chances are if you, as the chair, are having difficulty figuring out how to do something with Robert's Rules of Order, there's a chance that other members of the committee are probably confused as well. And I find that if you take a step back, ask questions, figure out how to move forward, it's actually a great team building experience. So that's something to keep in mind. And I'm thinking that probably a good time to do this would be, most likely won't be a farm committee meeting next week. So maybe during this time next week, that would be a good time to host that Robert's Rules training session. But again, we can have that discussion in a little bit. So yeah, I guess in terms of what is farm committee and not necessarily what are some of the things that the farm committee will do. I just want to ask if there's any questions on the committee in general, or in terms of structure, in terms of how it will operate. Yeah, I'll open the floor to questions. And I know Corbett is attending as a guest today because he kind of wants to be here as a support. So if you want to jump in as well, that is totally cool, but I'll open the floor. Sure, Corbett, go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, I recommended that this committee be brought back during the policy reviews. Partially, my year, it didn't really operate that much. I think we met only once or twice throughout the whole year, which was not a good thing. But I always saw the potential for the committee to be really effective, especially for farm reps, because my first experience on the board as an applied science rep, I felt fairly overloaded, and unless I was actively working with, say, a project that was being run by an executive, I just kind of felt like I was floating around, and really, I was mostly focused on my own faculty issues, which gave me some grounding, but for the most part, from a board perspective, I just didn't feel like that was connected with it, because it was very, exec-centric. And so my hope is that with this, if we revive this committee and give it more of a more formal purpose, that it'll be more effective, and that this potential can be really realized. From my perspective on potential is that because there's 10 faculty members, and often faculty and at-large members, there's often a lot of overlap on what people want to get done within these. A lot of faculty related issues that are often across all faculties, whether it's space or enrollment issues or funding or activities or any of these kinds of stuff. It's rare that you'll have 8 faculty reps with 8 unique challenges, and same with at-larges. So to me, it's the perfect space to figure out what those overlaps are and start working on things together, and taking ownership of your own projects, and having a space for you to really work on things that's not just tied directly to executives. And so some suggestions I'll make is, as a part of the meeting itself, that probably near the end of each meeting, you probably should sort out who's going to be chair next time. Because I'm assuming you will have the chair also do the agenda and everything else, or is that something you would do, Gabe, as either as backup or just, okay. So that gives, some ownership over the next meeting times and the responsibility of figuring out the agenda, calling for suggestions, all that kind of stuff. Additionally, I'd recommend for, say, the next meeting to everyone to go over your own platforms and look at the spreadsheet that I made up for everybody to kind of group a lot of your platform points related to the strategic plan, and different categories within each strategic priority, and start talking with each other about ways you can work together, and bring that for the next meeting, and start coming up with ideas for projects, start chatting with staff about projects, how they can be of support, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, thank you, Corbett. The floor is still open if there, if anyone wants to. Yeah, Anuki. So it completely depends on the project too. I think that, it's, I guess it just depends on the project too. You need to think about, on what level am I trying to organize? Is it on a departmental level? Is it on a faculty level? Is it on a university-wide level? If it's something big, should I bring that to the board? Or if it's, maybe something that you could work on with 1 or 2 people, is that something maybe that should actually be brought to a smaller group, such as this committee? So in short, I guess it completely depends. And, there's always, if you're not sure, I'm always here to answer that question, or almost any other board member is here to, try and figure that out. And Anuki, do you actually want to speak? Before Sude, because I know you asked that question. You might have a follow-up.
Yeah. So one of the projects that I'm working on with like Nafoni and Emerly and a couple others, is like across like faculties and kind of university level. We already brought it up to external and UAA, I think. But yeah, I was wondering if like that's something I should bring up here so like other farm members can like know what we're doing, or yeah, but I don't know if it's too late to submit that. I completely like forgot to. I'm sorry.
It's all right. So when it comes to something like that, I think that's a great example of something you could bring to this committee as well, because not only is it a university-wide initiative, but it's also something that, in terms of if you're asking faculties and you're asking individual departments to take on something like that, farm reps actually play a critical role in talking to the individual faculties, deans, departments about trying to get that implemented. Yeah. Sude, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, I had a similar question. I am working on a project. I mean, it's going to be for a month. We're hosting panel discussions on Zoom. But it's mostly targeted for FAST students. But also there are students in other faculties who take FAST courses. So they can also join, and I don't know if I was going to bring this up, but I didn't know if this farm committee was going to encompass it. So yeah, can we like help each other promote events and spread the word to our own faculty members? Like, I think that's the purpose of this committee, right?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Okay. Also, I think I will send the poster on farm group on farm chat channel. The panel discussion is going to be on Wednesday, so I'm trying to promote it, but there's still there are very few people who've registered, so I would appreciate it if you guys promote it, post it, or anything. Thank you.
Sure, thanks, Sude. And if you want to talk about it in greater detail, there's also a agenda item later on in the agenda to do a roundtable on ongoing projects. So yeah, we can talk about it a little more too if that's something you're open to. Wei Chen?
So yeah, I was just gonna bring up that yeah, anything like that, like do you want other farmers to promote? Like I think just posting on the Discord channel. We do have like a farm Discord channel, so that'll be a good place to post things like that and just ask the other members to promote it. Yeah.
Thank you, Wei Chen. Heather?
Yeah, so first of all, Corbett, that was a very good idea of bringing back this committee, especially during the pandemic, because during the last meeting I had with my faculty presidents, they showed concerns regarding how the fall orientation is going to be like, and that's quite a bit of challenge for, I think, all of us over here. So this committee is going to provide us a platform to like look into initiatives that we can do to overcome the challenge and basically come up with ideas like what we can do for fall orientation. That's the first thing that clicked my mind when Gabe, you were talking about what farm committee is. And yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Cool, thank you. So yeah, I think there isn't, when it comes to what we can do, what we can and cannot do here, it's not really as maybe binary. But if you ever think that there's something that's worth bringing up to this committee, always just bring it forward, and if it requires further discussion, it can go to the board. It's an open environment to talk about any kind of organizing or initiatives that you want. And in terms of priorities for the year, I think we've kind of already gone over this, but there are many different things that have already come up. Orientation, Sude, your panel. And yeah, I think that just, yeah, sorry, I need to look at the chat. Corbett, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I just kind of probably make two more recommendations or statements. One, because it's a rotating chair, it's a little bit, there will be a little bit more of a challenge with making sure that, you know, meetings happen, that whoever is the chair for that time period really takes a leadership role to make sure that, you know, they have to put in the extra effort to, you know, contact the different members to make sure that they bring back stuff for the agenda for that they're prepared. And that can be a little bit harder because, you know, potentially every month or every 2 weeks that person will change. So really do take it as an opportunity to kind of like, it's a good example of like this committee, you'll get out of the committee whatever you put into it. And I hope as a group you end up like over as more meetings start happening, it's a little bit of a routine or a flow that you'll all see value into it. Also, the thing too, this is your committee effectively. Like it's not, it's part of the board, it's under the board and stuff, but it's not like an exec committee. It's not a specific, you know, operations committee or any of these kinds of things. It's very much what you want to see it. So as you're going through it this year, if you find certain things aren't working, like, because, you know, the way how I thought might work is maybe different than how it actually works out in practice, we can make changes too. Like, and so it's not like you're stuck with how things work, like how things are now. So keep akin to that. Really, please take ownership of this committee and put it to good use. Thank you.
Thank you, Corbett. Yeah, so yeah, you basically summed up exactly what I was going to say. And again, when it comes to priorities, it's really, again, what you make out of it. And I, you know, myself or Corbett can't stand here and tell you what you should be doing. It's kind of what you guys make of it and where you see the direction of this committee going and how you want to use that in order to further your initiatives and further your advocacy and further your connection with each other. And so that is really useful when it comes to things like, I don't know, like Emerly's Open Educational Resources Letter Campaign, or Anuki and Nafoni's anti-racism working group that's going on, or you know, Sude's panel, or I know Weichen's going to bring up the idea of an advisory committee in a moment. There's a lot of different things that can be done here. So Anuki, you can go ahead and speak.
Oh, yes. I think this committee is like a great idea because sometimes like when we do put ideas and stuff on the Discord channel, things can get buried within messages and like different channels. Sometimes people don't check or whatever it is. So yeah, it's like a nice way to actually like openly communicate and ask for support. And yeah, I really like the idea of this committee.
Awesome. That makes me happy. So that's it for me in terms of like what this committee is and setting priorities for the year. Again, I just want to open the floor to any questions or discussion. Weichen?
Yeah, like I think what Anuki said, like things can get buried on Discord and like or people won't check it. I think just to remind the people that you should always be checking Discord daily now, and yeah, just keeping out the messages. Yeah, just putting the relevant, like whatever you're talking about in relevant channels, and just a reminder for people to keep checking, because it is our main platform of communication. So yeah, just try and keep up with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just echo that, because I think that the Discord is actually it's activity has definitely decreased on Discord in the last little bit, and I know it's very overwhelming at times, because I know I'm getting notifications from 17 different platforms every day, and trying to keep up with that is very overwhelming. But when it comes to our work on the board and as execs or faculty reps or at-large reps, it's very important to catch up with those. And again, circling back to the committee, I think that again, when it comes to your guys' roles, a lot of planning and brainstorming of ideas often happens, you know, when we're hanging out in the board office or seeing each other in passing, and that's kind of taken away right now because we're online. So again, this is another platform to have those discussions that maybe aren't easily done, you know, through other online platforms. But yes, please check the Discord. So I'm gonna move on then. Wei-Chun already went. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'll actually pass it back to Wei-Chun because he has the next agenda item, which is titled "Establishing an Advisory Committee in Different Faculties."
Yeah, so I brought up this idea of, I want to talk about this idea of establishing an advisory committee in the different faculties and departments. Just because I think it's important to have these faculties. Well, like to explain like the role of like what I see this advisory committee is basically a committee where all your DSU execs get together from different departments and discuss on advocacy issues, discuss on like maybe doing a campaign or something like that. Anything that you need to do with like with the department. So like what's different about like this and like their regular exec meeting is like getting all the DSUs together. And also, so basically you have like one rep from each DSU, at least one rep, and attending these committee meetings. And then what's different from that with like any other meetings they have is that this would be like solely focused on like advocacy and like on campaign stuff like that. Just because like, you know, their regular meetings, they usually discuss like events and like planning events and all that social stuff. So like it is important to like for them to keep planning those things, but it's also important to have a space for them to discuss on other issues. So like examples would be, you know, with like all the invigilation going on, like, you know, students are concerned about privacy issues and like just the invasion of privacy by profs and not being compassionate. I think those things like there needs to be talked about extensively and not just like a section in like the regular meetings, as like it is a pretty big issue. And then another example would be like launching a campaign. And one idea I, you know, been talking about for quite a while now is basically launching a space campaign to get space for all the DSU on campus. So if like a joint effort between all the faculties, you know, telling every department saying that, hey, all the DSUs want space on campus because like as student unions, it's very important to have space on campus just to, you know, have longevity and have a place where students can go to like for the departments, right? Like those spaces that all your DSUs, if your DSU has spaces, they're not permanent, but they're just on like good faith with the department. So, you know, at any point, like if the relationship goes bad between the DSUs and the departments, they basically can take the space away without, you know, having any reason, just say, okay, we want our space back because there's no any official agreement between them. So that's one campaign that we could launch as, you know, and I think that the advisory committee will play a big role in that. So yeah, just kind of that's what I was thinking for the advisory committee and why it's important to have those and to like, you know, launch campaigns and all that. And like if there's like different advisory committee and all the different faculties and like, you know, with the DSUs, you could coordinate campaigns together and they'll be more powerful instead of just like, for example, like just science having their own like advisory committee and if other faculties not having it. Yeah, so that's pretty much my idea with it. I would love to hear everyone's input on it, or if you have any question, any clearance on the information.
Yeah, thank you, Wei-Chun. I guess the floor is open to any questions.
yeah, just so like if like have you guys talked about this? I think FAST talked about something like that. I remember hearing Jess. I think it was Jess talked about it or something. But yeah, just wanted to-
Yeah. So you mean like a committee for all the DSUs, or because like yeah, FAST did have that. Like they have a FAST DSU meetings. And I used to go to them when I used to be their DSU rep. But yeah, sorry, I like. Can you clarify like what you mean with the DSUs? Like, is it across departments or faculties, or just within a specific
or like
one?
just the advisory committee would be within your faculty because you know different faculties, different departments. So this advisory committee would be bringing all the different DSU execs in your own faculty together. So example for science, we have like math, we have physics, we have chemistry, we have stats, we have like so many departments and different DSUs. And this advisory committee would consist of like one rep from all the DSU in science together, and where they can get together every week or bi-weekly to discuss advocacy issues, campaign, and all that. So basically, every faculty should have like their own advisory committee consisting of like their DSUs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for the question, Anuki, and for the answer, Wei Chen. Is there any other questions? If there's no, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's no questions. I would suggest going to your like DSU or like your faculty union like meetings and just like pitching this idea to them and see what they think. And in terms of next steps, like we'll be probably drafting a term of reference for the advisory committee. So I'm not sure if like the term of reference would be like kind of similar across all faculties, but the term of reference is just so that people can always refer back to this term of reference every time the new execs kind of get elected in all the DSUs, and like also the faculty guys on the board. Just to refer back to what is this committee, why does it exist, and like what its role is, just so people can like know what about the committee, and yeah, just so that it doesn't just disappear after our board year or after like a new DSU are coming in. Yeah, I think I talked with Corbett a little bit about it. I wonder if you have any advice or any comments on that, Corbett.
I would also recommend like everyone like making a doc that's trying to map out what currently exists for different bodies within each. Because I know like past DSUs, like the Arts and Social Sciences DSU group exists through Brian Fox and others. Like it's an SFU committee that, or SFU group that tends to run it. We're coming from an SFS side. But it'd be good to map out what exists in what forms already from the SFS and SFU side for these types of rules. So like, I think FCAT's President Council is one example. I know Applied Sciences in the past, I don't know if it still currently runs, but at least once a semester, they used to have like a big group meetup with SFU, relevant SFU staff. So it'd be good for us to know where exists to either reduce duplication or to figure out, okay, you know, who's basically running what groups. Okay, and that's my only idea right now.
Thank you, Corbett. Anuki has a question for Corbett.
Yeah. So you said that we should map out like what exists like through SFU already. Like for example, how Brian Fox leads the FAST ones. From what I remember, I think Environment does have something like that where someone from each club goes and reports to the faculty or something. And I don't know who that's run by. I think I do, but so say that already exists. But I want to have a thing where I meet with all the club presidents anyways and do meetings. which I think is what Wei Chen is like saying what the advisory committee is like. Can I still do that, or how would it work?
Oh yeah, you can definitely do it yourself. This is more of a SFS focused version, because like not all faculties from SFU side have the same kind of support or organization for these kinds of meetups. It's good for us to have our own version because then we can also talk about, SFS focused issues, and we can also communicate, stuff from the board and vice versa. So the reason why I was talking about duplication was more like internally from the SFS side, like if we already had, if say a faculty already had a group that was effectively doing this role anyways, wouldn't want to like go to them and say, hey, let's start up another one that's effectively the same thing. That's all, really. But I think it's important for us to know both what's going on the SFU side as well as what's coming in from the SFS side.
If you don't mind, I'll just jump in here and say that we do have similar meetings, and clubs coordinators also work on something similar. So I would recommend just reach out to us and we can join forces. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. That's very good to know. Thank you. Wait, Shen, I'm sorry. I don't know if you've already spoken or if you'd like to go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just want to ask, Poom, can you clarify on your the FAST DSU meetings? Just like what do you guys talk about in those meetings? But is it like a meeting between all the different DSU execs, right? Like
yeah, Sude, if you want to jump in the conversation as well, but FAST DSU meeting, so every FAST DSU has an exec called the FAST rep, and the FAST rep comes to the FAST DSU meeting to talk about whatever A, is relevant to the faculty, and B, what they want to work on together as a faculty. FAST is kind of a bit different from other faculties in that when they plan stuff, they plan things together. They're like one giant DSU almost. So a lot of events and a lot of like recently, like advocacy initiatives, like recently, like the core funding stuff went through the FAST DSU meetings, and it's pretty diverse in terms of like the agenda items. Like it might be some problems the DSUs are running with, for example, like a credit card, or it might be something like a project they want to work on, like Sude's events, like the FAST panel debates. Yeah, and it's run by FAST. Arts Central, which is Jess, Brian Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is it just him chairing the meeting, or is it with some one of the DSUs?
You mean the DSU meeting?
Yeah, Jess chairs the meeting.
Also, Jess and Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So today you kind of exited. Did you want to say something? You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry. Poom said pretty much everything. So they're like EPA coordinators, like Shavir, Jess, working with Brian Fox. I mean, he really wants it to be more student-led. So for now, he's not attending to some of the meetings because it's basically SAS and DSU meetings, and we have like the spokespersons from each DSU. That's the FAST rep. So they give us updates about what's going on. I give them about like SFSS updates. That's how it goes, basically.
Yeah, I have the same thing in science as well. We have like we just call it like the all DSU meetings. So basically, it's all the DSU having one rep coming to these meetings every 2 weeks, and then me and Thomas, who is the science engagement coordinator in the Faculty of Science. So I chair the meeting with him, and we kind of set the agenda and everything. So kind of similar, just updates from DSUs. Anything they need help with, like basically any topic that people want to talk about. For example, when the Black Lives Matter movement just started coming out and like things were getting intense, we had like a talk about issues on that of like how to make your DSU more inclusive, like just opening conversations about that. So things like that. So I think it needs to be decided with like for yourself, like because you know your faculty better and like your meetings. I don't know what you guys talk about in the meetings, but basically for you to decide like, can this be the advisory committee? Basically, can this be a place where people talk about advocacy? Can this place be a place where people talk about launching campaigns and stuff like that? So if you think that that meetings that you guys have can be turned into advisory committee, then yeah, maybe do that. So like Corbett said, don't duplicate stuff. But also keep in mind that you do chair these meetings with like people from the faculty side, like from the SFU side. So like you have to kind of see if, I think this has to be like kind of student led, just because of like things we're going to do like advocacy and campaigns. So like example, like launching a space campaign, you wouldn't want someone from the SFU side being involved on like those campaigns, right? So you kind of have to decide, okay, maybe we need a separate committee, aside from the DSU meetings, because people from the SFU side, the staff, like can't be there, just because it'll be like a weird dynamic to like talk about launching a space campaign and getting space from SFU when someone SFU is there. So just keep that in mind, and yeah, I guess just start the conversation to your DSU reps and just kind of talk to them about this idea. Yeah, so hopefully we can get this going and just launch a campaign, get space from all the DSU on campus. So that would be really amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Wei-Chen. And yeah, I think I'm just going to jump in quickly with a few thoughts of mine. And I think that, well, nothing that's already been said, but I think that it's very important right now as a beginning step to look at the existing structures that are there. And I love this idea, but we need to, a few things is to check to see if, if those can be kind of transformed into the idea that Wei-Chen has, if there's appetite for it even within the faculty. Some faculties might say, we're actually okay with our existing structures. I'm not necessarily sure if we want this. So just checking in with that and, trying to, what's the word? I guess respect those existing governance structures, but continuing to still work within those. And also when it comes to like duplication, just trying to be cognizant of DSU workloads as well, because I know many, DSUs have many different, what would you call them? I guess roles where you're kind of representing your DSU to another body, for example, like FAST reps or council representatives or department reps. So I would advise to be cognizant of adding another role for DSUs to take on in order to represent, DSU interests on yet again another body. So, again, that comes back to seeing if this can kind of be transformed or combined with other existing governance structures, but just something that came to my mind just to think about. But yeah, no, it's good. So, any concluding thoughts, I suppose? Since the discussion kind of closing. Yeah, so
if people want to kind of work with whoever wants to work with me on like drafting a term of reference for this committee, then feel free to reach out to me. We can do it over Discord, and yeah, I'll maybe start a doc on Google Doc and post it on the farm Discord maybe.
Cool. Yeah, and I suppose there's some action items to take out of this. A is what Wei-Chen just said, to you can work with him on drafting those terms of reference. Two, kind of putting out the feels in your faculty and trying to do some research on some existing governance structures. And Anna has also offered to help out with that too a little bit if you can reach out to her. And yeah, I think Wei-Chen, does that kind of wrap up action items. Awesome. Sounds good. For this meeting, for next farm meeting, I think we'll do that toward the end. Cool. Yeah, okay, so I think we can move on then to item number 7, which is updates. And I thought this would be a good opportunity for, to just do kind of like a round table on some general updates on projects all of you are working on. And this would be a good opportunity to mention if you're, if you need any support, if you need any resources or anything of the sort. So I guess maybe we can go down the, the list of people in this meeting, and you can give like a brief, as long as you want, a summary of what you've been working on, and if you need any support or resources in terms of that. And I think just to keep things flowing, I'll probably limit to 2 to 3 minutes each. Yeah, so I guess I'll go down the list of roll call from the agenda. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Balkis, do you want to talk about maybe some things you've been working on, or?
Yes, sure. So I have been working on a couple of things. Probably the longest thing at the moment has been the town hall. Just consistently like following up and checking and planning and stuff like that, along with the other groups involved, and working on getting the BIPOC committee established and going. We just decided on chairs, as you know, last Friday, so getting the application out and calling the first meeting. Another thing I'm working on is pretty closely with the student athletes who are like organizing and leading the campaign for the name change of the SFU athletics. And yeah, those are predominantly what's been taking my time. I know I'll be part of like whatever we're doing here pretty soon, as well as the HR and personnel committee. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, okay, we can go next then. If Poom, I would invite Poom if he would like to.
Hello. I've been working on some collaboration projects. I want to work on one with, I discussed in the emergency response working group, the COVID stories with the peak, getting people to, in conjunction with advocacy, publish stories about the transition to online. There's also the Member Services Policy Advisory Committee. I've been reading up the procedure as to how to start a committee and how to get the fancy agenda items and Robert's rules and whatnot. Hopefully get that started soon. Oh, if any of you have the access to Discord, can you make me like a channel? Thank you. Anyways, what else? I want to work on, or one of the ideas on events committee was a virtual concert run through Instagram Live with SFUP Currency, and I've been trying to set up meetings with SFUP Currency and Sindhu and Dipti. Yep.
Sounds really cool. Yeah, and I think, I was just gonna say Wei-Chen's a moderator in our board Discord, so I think, yes, Wei-Chen, for the Member Services Advisory Committee, a channel for that. Cool. Sounds really good, Poom, thank you. We'll move on then. I'll invite Harry to give an update.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so the past couple of months I've been attending a lot of VSU meetings and like having meetings with the club presidents as well. And apart from that, that was pretty basic. But apart from that, I was working on the Software Sister Society to like come up with a formal and a student-focused process for like dealing with sensitive and serious issues with our classes and profs and instructors. So these issues specifically will like deal with a certain class, or maybe an instructor or a TA or a prof. And if, for example, there's poor prof communication or extreme marking issues or TA bias or anything like that which is being faced by students, they might have a chance to like report it and maybe get help. And the issue is not particularly like limited to maybe, let's say, we are not able to enter courses, or maybe the course materials journal is too difficult, which falls under different category, but this is much more sensitive and it's much more formal. So I was working with Andy, who is a software system a student society president, and the DSU there as well. So that is what is keeping me up right now. I plan to bring this up to the board as well, and maybe like get it formalized and structured so that like other DSUs, maybe even farther from my faculty, could be able to use it.
Okay, thank you so much for the update, Harry. Sude, I would invite you to give an update.
Yeah, I've been working on the panels that we're hosting this month and next month. So for this week, Wednesday, we have different themes for each week. We have coffee break with undecided majors this week. So it's going to be a panel discussion with 2 or 3 presenters. I'm going to be a host with a SAS president, and so it's just going to be discussion on what can we do if we're an undecided major. What are the experiences of other students, like 3rd year, 4th year students? What are some recommendations and advice you can give? Yeah, so we had 2 presenters, but one of them, she has a midterm, so she canceled. And I talked with Anuki, since she's also a sociology major, which is fast related. She could be a presenter. So I just need to promote it as much as I can. I also like sent the requests with what was it, Joe's I gave the work order through I forgot the name. I'm trying to find the name. Like for SFSS to promote the event as well. I didn't hear what you said.
Jot form?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like Joe. Yeah, with that. Yeah, so I would appreciate it. I'm gonna send the poster now on our channel. Yeah, for this week we have that, and the following week we're going to have one with pro tips for FIC students. I get actively involved with DSU exec, so those are the titles. And we're going to have one with tea time with recent graduates, so graduate students giving advice. How is their experience with COVID? What are they doing? Are they applying like co-op and everything? And we will have one with actively involved with SFSS, and I'm going to email like 3 of you, Gabe, you're part of them, to be a presenter for that, like how to be actively involved in student life through SFSS, being an at-large member for the committees we have. Yeah, this kind of thing.
Thanks, Sude. Sounds really good. I'm excited to see that and be a part of it. Heather.
Wait, sorry. Yeah, so I just today got done with the monthly review that is posted on Facebook and the SFSS website. Just waiting for us to like go through the grammatical mistakes I make every time. And so like I can file in the jot form for that. Other than that, like for the past couple of days, in fact, for the past week, I've been practicing Robert's rules as well. As we all know, they can get really confusing. So what I did and I would recommend everyone doing that is like go through the committee recordings, any committee recordings, and just made some notes, just like I did. And other thing that I think most of you know that I'm working on is FIC membership. The Fraser International College, getting them the full membership rights towards SFSS. So what I did was for the past couple of weeks, for the past week, I'm in contact with I think VP Finance, VP Executive from Alma Mater Society from UBC, because they also have a similar college like FIC, which is like a Vantage college. So basically, I asked them like how they got them Alma Mater Society membership and how they got them an access to UPass, so we can follow similar steps like that. So I'm just waiting for their one more email, and I'm gonna make a Google Doc and then send it to Gabe. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thanks so much. Emily's not here. Anuki, I'll invite you to the floor.
Yeah, so just to echo what Sude said, yeah, I'll be speaking on that panel this week. Since my minor is sociology, I'm excited for that, and I ask everyone to like share the Facebook and like even on Instagram and like everywhere. Please like make sure everybody comes to that. And then in the past month, I've been working with Wei Chin on the TMX letter. And I also worked with Justice No Pipeline and Dogwood SFU on that as well. And I'm also working on the anti-racism working group with Nafoni and seeking to implement these courses or modules or whatever it will be throughout faculties and SFU. What else? Oh yeah, I've been like in contact with the Geography Student Union, and like also I spoke at faculty social, and I'm going to continue with that, and I think that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Anuki, for the update. Nafoni?
Hi. So yeah, just to reiterate what Anuki has said, so we're doing some work based on anti-racism. So we're working with a student in the education department. Next steps for us will probably be try to implement our working group and then creating a university-wide petition and creating a letter to send out to different deans and the different faculties. So that's probably something we could bring to the rest of you to send to the deans in your respective faculties. Aside from that, I'm trying to work with my faculty to create a event specifically for first-year students who are entering this fall, but that's kind of hard because they have yet to reply to any of my emails. So I don't know how that is going to go. They're not really good at replying to emails, and they're still in the process of electing new executives. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, those are the two things I'm currently working on.
Cool. Thank you, Nafoni. And lastly, Wei Chin.
Yeah, I've just been, like Anuki said, working with her on the TMX pipeline stuff. Also helping out like a little here and there with like keys on the town hall. Submitting like the brief and stuff for like the Just Recovery, the House of Commons. And in terms of like DSU things, just having like our bi-weekly DSU meetings, and then just kind of it's like me and Thomas trying to push or get people more comfortable in like advocacy and kind of campaign stuff, just because I think that's been missing for quite a while now, at least in my the Faculty of Science. So just trying to push people towards a more advocacy side, and it's been pretty good. Thomas has been really helpful with that, and he's pretty supportive of the students. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of like for DSU stuff.
Awesome. Thank you, Wei Chin, for the update, and thank you everyone so much for summarizing some of the work that you're doing. It all sounds very, very exciting, and yeah. Sorry, Heather, did you want to say something? Oh, okay. It's all right. Cool. So that concludes that, I suppose. So we'll move on from updates then to our item number 8, which is announcements. So the next farm meeting will be 2 weeks from now on Monday, July 13th at the same time. And this is the time where we decide on the next chair. So I guess before I get started, Balkis, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, just a comment about the timing. I think we should consider another time if Emily and Maytab cannot consistently make this time. Just like note for everybody.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the only reason Emily couldn't make it today was because of the Faculty of Education Council meeting. I'm not sure if that council meets consistently on this time, on a, I don't know, bi-weekly or monthly basis. Maytab, I believe it's because of he has another job, and I need to double check with him, but I think his availability was extremely limited. I very much do agree with you. I want everyone to be able to make it. And plus it's 9 a.m. on a Monday. That's not very exciting. So yeah, we should definitely work on that. So in terms of deciding a chair for the next meeting, my suggestion, and I would love to hear thoughts on this, is that to make things easier, every meeting, I think that the chair should be determined by just going down the list of committee members on the roll call of attendance as it's presented on the agenda. And I think that's easiest just so we have some consistency and we're not scrambling to find a chair for the next meeting. So if we were to do that, the next chair for the meeting would be Balkis. And so I was wondering if there was any thoughts on that or if there's another system that folks think could be useful.
Yeah, I agree. This would be like a nice way to like get everyone in and maybe not have any confusions regarding the election of chairs. So yeah.
Can I ask what list you're talking about?
Like if you're looking at the roll call of attendance on the agenda.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Sounds good to me.
Awesome. So it seems that works. So I will just assume that by consensus, everyone is fine with electing Balkis as the next chair for the next meeting. So Balkis, I can work with you on calling the next meeting and the process around agenda items and things like that. Yeah. Sounds good. So we'll put that down on the record. So the next chair will be Balkis. Yeah, sounds good. Did you want to say something? Sorry, I saw you on mute.
Yeah, I did. I was thinking I'm going to be chairing another committee, so I kind of want to put it out there to anyone who's not chairing anything at the moment if they want to go first. Hey there.
Okay, cool. Is that you want to go first, Heather? Okay, cool. So I guess, and we can just start at Heather and go down the list from there. Yeah, cool. Is that what you were gonna say? Okay, sounds good. So scratch that. Heather will be the next chair. All right, looks good. All right, we'll move on then to adjournment. So be it resolved to adjourn the meeting at 10:10 a.m. Is there a mover for that motion?
Heather.
Heather, thank you. Is there a seconder?
Suda seconds.
Sude seconds, thank you. I'm going to assume there's no discussion on this, so we'll move to a vote then. All those in favor seeking unanimous consent? And I'm seeing no opposition, so that motion will carry unanimously. So thank you, everyone. It was a good meeting. Go get some coffee and have a good day. And good night for you, I guess, Heather.
Bye, everyone.